I do not look for holy saints to guide me on my way, or male and female devilkins to lead my feet astray. If these are added, I rejoice; if not, I shall not mind, so long as I have leave and choice to meet my fellow kind. And as we come, and as we go, and deadly soon go we, the people, Lord, thy people, are good enough for me. Thus I will honour pious men, whose virtues shine so bright, though none are more amazed than I, when I by chance do right. And I will pity foolish men, for woe their sins has bred, though 99% of mine I brought on my own head. And Amorite, or Eremite, or general averagee, the people, Lord, thy people, are good enough for me. And when they bore me over much, I will not shake mine ears, recalling many thousand such whom I have bored to tears. And when they labour to impress, I will not doubt nor scoff, since I myself have done no less, and sometimes pulled it off. Yes, as we are, and we are not, and we pretend to be, the people, Lord, thy people, are good enough for me. And when they work me random wrong, as often times have been, I will not cherish hate too long, my hands are none too clean. And when they do me random good, I will not feign surprise, no more than those whom I have cheered with wayside courtesies. But as we give, and as we take, whate'er our takings be, the people, Lord, thy people, are good enough for me. But when I meet with frantic folk who sinfully declare there is no pardon for their sin, the same I will not spare, till I have proved that heaven and hell, which in our hearts we have, show nothing irredeemable on either side the grave. For as we live, and as we die, if aught a death there be, the people, Lord, thy people, are good enough for me. Deliver me from every pride, the middle, high and low, that bars me from my brother's side, whatever pride he show. And purge from me all heresy of thought and speech and pen, that bid me judge him otherwise than I am judged. Amen. That I may sing of crown or king or road-borne company, that I may labour in my day, vocation and degree, to prove the same by deed and name, and hold unshakenly, where'er I go, but ere I know where my neighbour be, this sing of faith in life and death and to eternity. A people, Lord, thy people are good enough for me. Tell it to the locked up trees, cuckoo, bring your song here. Warrant, act and summons, please, for spring to pass along here. Tell old winter if he doubt, tell him squat and square. Old woman, old woman, let the cuckoo out, let full cuckoo fair. For March has searched and April tried, 'tisn't long to May now. Not so far to Whitsuntide, and cuckoos come to stay now. Hear the valiant fellow shout down the orchard bare. Old woman, old woman, old woman, let the cuckoo out and have full cuckoo fair. So when your heart is young and gay and the season rules it, work your works and play your play, for the autumn cools it. Kiss your turn and turn about, but me lad beware. Old woman, old woman, old woman, let the cuckoo out and have for cuckoo fair. Excellent herbs had our fathers of old, excellent herbs to ease their pain. Alexanders and marigold, aye, bright orris and elecampane, basil, rocket, valerian rue, almost singing themselves they run. Vervain, dittany, call me to you, cowslip, melilot, rose of the sun. Anything green that grew out of the mould was an excellent herb to our fathers of old. Wonderful tales had our fathers of old, wonderful tales of the herbs and the stars. The sun was lord of the marigold, basil and rocket belonged to Mars. Pater the psalm in division it goes, every herb had a planet bespoke. Who but Venus should govern the rose? Who but Jupiter own the oak? Simply and gravely the facts are told in the wonderful books of our fathers of old. Wonderful little when all is said, wonderful little our fathers knew. Half of their remedies cured you dead, most of their teaching was quite untrue. Look at the stars when a patient is ill. Dirt has nothing to do with disease. Bleed and blister as much as you will. Blister and bleed him as oft as you please. Whence enormous and manifold errors were made by our fathers of old. Yet when the sickness was sore in the land, and neither planets nor herbs assuage, they took their lives in their lance at hand. Oh, what a wonderful war they waged! Yes, when the crosses were chalked on the door, yes, when the terrible dead cart rolled, excellent courage our fathers bore, excellent heart had our fathers of old. None too learned, but nobly bold, into the fight went our fathers of old. Now, if it be certain, as Galen says, and the sage Hippocrates holds as much, that those afflicted by doubts and dismays are mightily helped by a dead man's touch, then be good to us stars above, then be good to us herbs below. We are afflicted by what we can prove, we are distracted by what we know. So, down from your heaven or up from your mould, send us the hearts of our fathers of old. Roses red and roses white plucked I for my love's delight. She would none of all my posies, bade me gather her blue roses. Half the world I wandered through, seeking where such flowers grew. Half the world unto my quest answered me with laugh and jest. Home I came at winter tide, but my silly love had died, seeking with her latest breath roses from the arms of death. It may be beyond the grave she shall find what she would have. Mine was but an idle quest, roses white and red are best. Cobble towns by Cobble River, blow the trumpet, draw the sword. There I left me mate forever, wet and dripping by the ford, 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 ford a Cobble River, ford a Cobble River in the dark. There's the river up at Bremen, and there's half a squadron swimming across the ford of Cobble River in the dark. Cobble town's a blasted place, blow the trumpet, draw the sword. Struther shan't forget his face, wet and dripping by the ford, 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 ford a Cobble River, ford a Cobble River in the dark. Keep the cross and stakes beside you, and they will surely guide you across the ford of Cobble River in the dark. Cobble town is sun and dust, blow the trumpet, draw the sword. I'd as soon have drowned it fast than of him beside the ford, 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 ford a Cobble River, ford a Cobble River in the dark. You can hear the horses threshing, you can hear the men a splashing across the ford of Cobble River in the dark. Cobble town was ours to take, blow the trumpet, draw the sword. I'd have left it for his sake, him that left me by the ford, 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 ford a Cobble River, ford a Cobble River in the dark. It is none so blooming dry there, and should never come and die there, across the ford of Cobble River in the dark. Cobble Town will go to hell, blow the trumpet, draw the sword. For I see him live and well, in the best beside the ford. For the Cobble River, for the Cobble River in the dark. God help them if they blunder, for their boots will pull them under by the ford of Cobble River in the dark. Turn your horse from Cobble Town, blow the trumpet, draw the sword. Him and half me troop is down and drowned by the ford. For the Cobble River, for the Cobble River in the dark. There's the river low and falling, but it ain't no use a calling. Cross the ford of Cobble River in the dark. When Julius Fabricius, sub-prefect of the Weald, in the days of Diocletian, owned our lower river field, he called to him Hobdenius, a Briton of the clay, saying, what about that river piece for laying into hay? And the aged Hobden answered, I remember as a lad, my father told your father that she wanted draining bad, and the more that you neglect her, the less you'll get her clean. Have it just as you've a mind to, but if I was you, I'd drain. So they drained it long and crossways in the lavish Roman style. Still we find among the river drift their flakes of ancient tile, and in droughty middle August, when the bones of meadows show, we can trace the lines they followed 1600 years ago. Then Julius Fabricius died, as even prefects do, and after certain centuries imperial Rome died too. Then did robbers enter Britain from across the northern main, and our lower river field was won by Ogier the Dane. Well could Ogier work his warboat, well could Ogier wield his brand. Much he knew of foaming waters, not so much of farming land. So he called to him a Hobden of the old unaltered blood, saying, what about that river piece? She doesn't look no good. And that aged Hobden answered, 'Tain't for me to interfere, but I've known that bitter meadow now for 55 year. Have it just as you've a mind to, but I've proved it time on time. If you want to change her nature, you have got to give her lime. Ogier sent his wains to Lewis, 20 hours solemn walk, and drew back great abundance of the cool grey healing chalk, and old Hobden spread it broadcast, never heeding what was in't, which is why in cleaning ditches now and then we find a flint. Ogier died, his sons grew English, Anglo-Saxon was their name, until out of blossomed Normandy another pirate came. For Duke William conquered England and divided with his men, and our lower river field he gave to William of Warenne. But the brook, you know her habit, rose one rainy autumn night, and tore down sodden flitches of the bank to left and right. So said William to his bailiff as they rode their dripping rounds, Hob, what about that river bit? The brook's got up no bounds. And that aged Hobden answered, 'Tain't my business to advise, but you might ha' known 'twould happen from the way the valley lies. Where you can't hold back the water, you must try and save the sail. Have it just as you've a mind to, but if I was you, I'd spile. So they spiraled along the watercourse with trunks of willow trees and planks of elm behind 'em and immortal oaken knees. And when the spates of autumn whirl the gravel beds away, you can see their faithful fragments, iron hard in iron clay. Georgii Quinti anno sexto, I who own the river field am fortified with title deeds attested, signed and sealed, guaranteeing me my assigns, my executors and heirs, all sorts of powers and profits which are neither mine nor theirs. I have rights of chase and warren as my dignity requires. I can fish, but Hobden tickles. I can shoot, but Hobden wires. I repair, but he reopens certain gaps which men allege have been used by every Hobden since a Hobden swapped a hedge. Shall I dog his morning progress o'er the track betraying dew? Demand his dinner basket into which my pheasant flew? Confiscate his evening faggot under which my conies ran? And summons him to judgment? I would sooner summons Pan, for his dead are in the churchyard 30 generations laid. Their names were old in history when Doomsday Book was made, and the passion and the piety and prowess of his line have seeded, rooted, fruited in some land the law calls mine. Not for any beast that burrows, not for any bird that flies, would I lose his large sound counsel, Mrs. Keen amending eyes. He is bailiff, woodman, wheelwright, field surveyor, engineer, and if flagrantly a poacher, 'tain't for me to interfere. Hob, what about that river bit? I turn to him again, with Fabricius and Ogier and William of Warren. Have it just as you've a mind to, but, and here he takes command, for whoever pays the taxes, old Mus Hobden owns the land. They shut the road through the woods 70 years ago. Weather and rain have undone it again, and now you never would know. There once was a road through the woods before they planted the trees. It is underneath the coppice and heath and the thin anemones. Only the keeper sees that where the ring-dove broods and the badgers roll at ease, that there once was a road through the woods. Yet if you enter the woods of a summer evening late, when the night air cools on the trout-ringed pools where the otter whistles his mate, they fear not the men in the woods, because they see so few. You will hear the beat of a horse's feet, the swish of a skirt in the dew, steadily cantering through the misty solitudes, as though they perfectly knew the old lost road through the woods. But there is no road through the woods. That which is marred at birth time shall not mend, no water out of bitter well make clean. All evil thing returneth at the end, all else way walketh in our blood unseen. Whereby the more is sorrow incertain, day spring mishandled cometh not again. To bruised be that slender skirting spray, out of the ochre's rind that should be tied. A branch of girt and goodliness straightway, her spring is turned on herself and right, and knotted like some goal of any when day spring mishandled cometh not again. Noontide repayeth never morning bliss, sith noon to morn is incomparable. And so it be our dawning goeth amiss, none other after hours serveth well. Ah, Jesu, mother, pity my old pain. Day spring mishandled cometh not again. I've never sailed the Amazon, and I've never reached Brazil. But the Don and the Magdalena, they can go there when they will. Yes, weekly from Southampton, great steamers white and gold go rolling down to Rio. Roll down to Rio. And I'd like to roll to Rio someday before I'm old. I've never seen a jaguar, nor yet an armadillo, all billowing in his armor, and I suppose I never will. Unless I go to Rio, these wonders to behold. Roll down to Rio. Roll really down to Rio. Oh, I'd love to roll to Rio. Someday before I'm old. Yes, I'd love to roll to Rio. Someday before I'm old. I followed my Duke ere I was a lover, for to take from me glutton, thief and fee. But now this game is the other way over. But now England hath taken me. I had my horse, my shield, my banner, and a boyish heart, so whole and free. But now I sing in another manner. But now England hath taken me. As for my father, all in his tower, asking news of my ship at sea, well, he'll remember his own hour. Tell him England hath taken me. As for my mother, all in her bower, that rules my father so cunningly, she'll remember a maiden's power. Tell her England hath taken me. As for my brother in Rouen city, well, a nimble, naughty page is he, but he will come to suffer and pity. Tell him England hath taken me. As for my little sister awaiting in the pleasant orchards of Normandy, tell her youth 'tis the time for mating. Tell her England hath taken me. As for my comrades in camp and highway that lift their eyebrows scornfully, tell them their way, well, it is not my way. Tell them England hath taken me. You kings and princes, and you barons famed, all your knights and captains in your degree, hear me a little now before I'm blamed, seeing England hath taken me. Yes, how so great man's strength be reckoned, yet there are two things that he cannot flee. Love is the first, and death is second, and love in England hath taken me. I was very well pleased with what I knowed. I reckoned myself no fool, till I met with a maid on the Brooklyn road that turned me back to school. Low down where the little green lanterns shine. Oh, maids, I've done with thee all but one, and she can never be mine. 'Twas right in the midst of a hot June night, with thunder dancing round, and I seed her face by the fairy light that beats from off the ground. She only smiled, and she never spoke. She smiled and went away. But when she'd gone, me heart was broken, my wits was clean astray. Singing low down where the little green lanterns shine. Oh, maids, I've done with thee all but one, and she can never be mine. Oh, stop your ringing and let me be, let be, old Brooklyn bells. You'll ring old Goodman out of the sea before I wed one else. Old Goodman's farm is rank sea sand, and was this 1,000 year, but it shall turn to rich ploughland before I change my dear. Low down where the little green lanterns shine. Oh, maids, I've done with thee all but one, and she can never be mine. Oh, Fairfield church is water-bound from autumn to the spring, but it shall turn to high hill ground before my bells do ring. Oh, leave me walk on the Brooklyn road in thunder and warm rain. Oh, leave me look where my love goes, and perhaps I'll see her again. Low down where the little green lanterns shine. Oh, maids, I've done with thee all but one, and she can never be mine. She's a lady and she never looks nor reads. The man of war's her husband and he gives her all she needs. But oh, the little cargo boats that sail the wet seas round, they're just the same as you and me, flying up and down. Flying up and down, Jenny, hanging round the yard. All the way by Fratton tram, down to Portsmouth Yard. Anything for business, and we're growing old. Flying up and down, Jenny, waiting in the cold. Oh, the line, she's a lady by the paint upon her face, and if she meets an accident, they count it sore disgrace. The man of war's her husband, and he's always handy by. But oh, the little cargo boats, they've got to load or die. Got to load or die, Jenny, hanging round the yard. All the way by Fratton tram, down to Portsmouth Yard. Anything for business, and we're growing old. Got to load or die, Jenny, waiting in the cold. Oh, the line, she's a lady, and her route is cut and dried. The man of war's her husband, and he always keeps beside. But oh, the little cargo boats that haven't any man, they've got to do their business first and make the most they can. make the most they can, Jenny, hanging round the yard. All the way by Fratton tram, down to Portsmouth Ard. Anything for business, and we're growing old. Make the most they can, Jenny, waiting in the cold. Oh, the lady, she's a lady, and if a war should come, the man who was her husband and he'd bid her stay at home. But oh, the little cargo boats that fill with every tide, he'd have to up and fight for them, for they are England's pride. They are England's pride, Jenny, hanging round the yard. All the way by Fratton tram, down to Portsmouth Ard. Anything for business, and we're growing old. They are England's pride, Jenny, waiting in the cold. Oh, the lady, she's a lady, but if she wasn't made, there still would be the cargo boat for home and foreign trade. The man who was her husband, but if he wasn't here, he wouldn't have to fight at all for home and friends so dear. Home and friends so dear, Jenny, hanging round the yard. All the way by Fratton tram, down to Portsmouth Ard. Anything for business, and we're growing old. Home and friends so dear, Jenny, waiting in the cold. Hey, walk around, heave a shot again, over, snatch her over there and hold her on the pole. The sail sail, break the yards back and full, ready jib to pay her off her knee, short all. Well, I fare you well, we can stay no more with you, me love, so don't sit down your liquor and your girl from off your knee. For the wind has come to say you must take me while you may. If you go to Mother Carey, walk down to Mother Carey, oh, we're bound to Mother Carey, where she feeds her chicks at sea. Hey, walk around, break it out to that, break a starboard bow, out to peak, a wash and clear. Port she casts with the harbour mud beneath her foot, and that's the last of bottom we shall see this year. Well, I fare you well, for we've got to take her out again, take her out in ballast, running light and cargo free, and it's time to clear and quit when the hawser grips the bit, so we will pay you with a 4-sheet and a promise from the sea. Hey, tally on, often walk away with her, handsome to the cathead now, oh tally on the pool. Stop, feed and fish, and easy on the davit guy. Up the fluke of her and in board hole. Well, I fare you well, for the channel winds took hold of us, choking down our voices as we snatch the gaskets free. And it's blowing up for night, and she's dropping light on light, and she is snorting as she's snatching for a breath of open sea. Wheel full and by, but she'll smell her road alone tonight, for sick she is and harbour sick, oh sick to clear the land. Roll down to Brest with the old red ensign over us, carry on and thrash her out with all she'll stand. Well, I fare you well, and it's Usher slams the door on us, a whirling like a windmill through the dirty Scotland, till the last figure goes. From the tumbling water rose, we're off to Mother Carey. Well, we're down to Mother Carey, oh, we're bound for Mother Carey, where she feeds her chicks at sea. Dawn of the fall and the young flood making jumble and short and steep. Black in the hollows and bright where it's breaking, awkward waters to sweep. Mines reported in the fairway, warn all traffic and detain. Send up Unity, Clarabelle, Assyrian, Stormcock and Golden Gain. Noon of the fall and the first step making, lumpy and strong in the bite. Boom after boom and the golf heart shaking, and the jackdaws wild with fright. Mines located in the fairway, boats now working up the chain. Sweepers, Unity, Clarabelle, Assyrian, Stormcock and Golden Gain. Dusk of the fall and the last light going, and the traffic crowding through. And 5 damn trawlers with their sirens blowing, heading the whole review. Sweep completed in the fairway, no more mines remain. Send back Unity, Clarabelle, Assyrian, Stormcock and Golden Gain. The Queen was in her chamber, and she was middling old. Her petticoat was satin, and her stomacher was gold. Backwards and forwards and sideways did she pass, making up her mind to face the cruel-looking glass, the cruel-looking glass, that will never show a lass as comely or as kindly or as young as what she was. The Queen was in her chamber, a combing of her hair. There came Queen Mary's spirit, and it stood behind her chair, singing, backwards and forwards and sideways may you pass, but I will stand behind you till you face the looking glass, the cruel looking glass, that will never show a lass as lovely or unlucky or as lonely as I was. The Queen was in her chamber, weeping very sore. There came Lord Leicester's spirit, and it scratched upon the door, singing, backwards and forwards and sideways may you pass, but I will walk beside you till you face the looking glass, the cruel looking glass, that will never show a lass as hard and unforgiving or as wicked as you was. The Queen was in her chamber, her sins were on her head. She looked the spirits up and down, and statelily she said, backwards and forwards and sideways though I've been, yet I am Harry's daughter, and I am England's queen. And then she faced the looking glass, and whatever else there was, and she saw her day was over, and she saw her beauty pass in the cruel-looking glass that can always hurt a lass more hard than any ghost there is or any man there was. The law whereby my lady moves was never law to me, but 'tis enough that she approves, whatever law it be. For in that law and by that law my constant course I'll steer. Not that I heed or deem it dread, but that she holds it dear. Though Asia sent for my content her richest argosies, those would I spurn and bid return, if that should give her ease. With equal heart I'd watch depart each spice and sail from sight. Son's bitterness, desiring less, great gear than her delight. Though kings made swift with many a gift my proven sword to hire, I would not go nor serve 'em so, except at her desire. With even mind I'd put behind adventure and acclaim, and clean give o'er, esteeming more her favour than my fame. Yet such am I, yea, such am I, so bond and free as free. The law that sways my lady's ways is mystery to me. Gold is for the mistress, silver for the maid, copper for the craftsman cunning at his trade. Good, said the Baron, sitting in his hall, but iron, cold iron, is master of them all. So he made rebellion 'gainst the king his liege, camped before his citadel and summoned it to siege. Nay, said the cannoneer on the castle wall, but iron, cold iron, shall be master of you all. Woe for the Baron and his knights so strong, when the cruel cannonballs laid 'em all along. He was taken prisoner, he was cast in thrall, and iron, cold iron, was master of it all. Yet his king spake kindly, ah, how kind a lord! What if I release thee now and give thee back thy sword? Nay, said the Baron, mock not at my fall, for iron, cold iron, is master of men all. Tears are for the craven, prayers are for the clown, halters for the silly neck that cannot keep a crown. As my loss is grievous, so my hope is small, for iron, cold iron, must be master of men all. Yet his king made answer, few such kings there be. Here is bread and here is wine, sit and sup with me. Eat and drink in Mary's name, the whiles I do recall how iron, cold iron, can be master of men all. He took the wine and blessed it, he blessed and brake the bread. With his own hands he served them, and presently he said, "See, these hands were pierced with nails outside my city wall. Show iron, cold iron, to be master of men all." Wounds are for the desperate, blows are for the strong, balm and oil for weary hearts all cut and bruised with wrong. I forgive thy treason, I redeem thy fall, for iron, cold iron, must be master of men all. Crowns are for the valiant, sceptres for the bold, thrones and powers for mighty men who dare to take and hold. Nay, said the Baron, kneeling in his hall, but iron, cold iron, is master of men all. Iron out of Calvary is master of men all. Against the Bermudas we founded, whereby this master that swore me on bosun and I, our pinnace and crew being drowned in the main, must beg for our bread through old England again. For a bite and a sup and a bed of clean straw will tell you such marvels as man never saw. On a magical island which none did espy, save this master that swore beyond bosun and I. 7 months among mermaids and devils and sprites, and voices that howl in the cedars and nights. With further enchantments we underwent there, good sirs, 'tis a tale to draw guts from a bear. And twixt Dover and Southwark it paid us our way, where we found simple players were labouring a play. And willing to search what such business might be, we entered the yard both to hear and to see. For a bite and a sup and a bed of clean straw will tell you such marvels as man never saw. On a magical island which none did espy, save this master that swore beyond bosun and I. One pilot for seamen and courteous lie did guide us apart to a tavern nearby, where we told him our tale as to many of late, and he gave us good cheer, so we gave him good weight. For malt sack and strong waters on bellies well lying, with beef and black pudding do strengthen the mind. And seeing him greedy for marvels at last, from plain salted truth to flat lying we passed. For a bite and a sup and a bed of clean straw will tell you such marvels as man never saw. On a magical island which none did espy, save this master that swore beyond bosun and I. But he, when on midnight our reckoning he paid, he says never match coins with the coiner by trade, or he'll turn your lead pieces to metal as rare as shall fill him this globe and leave something to spare. So we slept where they laid us. When we awoke 'twas a crown or 5 shillings in every man's poke. We bit them and rang them, and finding them good, we drank to that coiner as honest men should. For a bite and a sup and a bed of clean straw will tell you such marvels as man never saw. on a magical island which none did espy, save this master that swore beyond bosun and I. Oh, have you news of my boy Jack? Not this time. Oh, when do you think that he'll come back? Not with this wind blowing and this tide. Has anyone else had word of him? Not this tide, for water sunk will hardly swim. Not with this wind blowing and this tide. Oh dear, what comfort can I find? None this tide, nor any tide, except he did not shame his kind, not even with that wind blowing and that tide. Then hold your head up all the more, this tide and every tide, because he was the son you bore and gave to that wind blowing and that tide. There was no one like him, horse or foot, nor any of the guns I knew, and because it was so, why of course he went and died, which is just what the best men do. So it's knock at your pipes and follow me, and it's finish up your swipes and follow me. Oh, hark to the big drum calling, follow me home. Well, his mare, she neighs the whole day long, she paws the whole night through, and she won't take a feed, 'cause her waiting for his step, which is just what a beast would do. So it's knock at your pipes and follow me, and it's finish up your swipes and follow me. Oh, hark to the big drum calling, follow me home. And his girl, she goes with a bombardier before a month is through, and the bands are up in church, for she's got the beggar hooked, which is just what a girl would do. So it's knock at your pipes and follow me, and it's finish up your swipes and follow me. Oh, hark to the big drum calling, follow me home. And we fought but a dog last week, it were noble than a run or two, but I struck him cruel hard, and I wish I hadn't now, which is just what a man can't do. So it's knock at your pipes and follow me, and it's finish up your swipes and follow me. Oh, hark to the big drum calling, follow me home. He was all that I had in the way of a friend, and I've had to find one new, but I'd give me pay and stripe for to get the beggar back, which it's just too late to do. So it's knock at your pipes and follow me, and it's finish up your swipes and follow me. Oh, hark, the fifes are crawling, follow me, oh. So it's take him away, he's gone where the best men go. Take him away, and the gun wheels turning slow. Take him away, there's more from the place he comes. Take him away with the limber and the drum, because it's 3 rands blank and follow me, and it's 13 rank and follow me. Oh, passing the love of women, follow me, follow me, oh, follow me, follow me, oh. If you're off to Philadelphia in the morning, you mustn't take my stories for a guide. There is little left indeed of the city you'll read of, and all the folk I write about have died. Now few will understand if you mention Talleyrand, or remember what his cunning and his skill did. And the cabmen at the wharf do not know Count Zinzendorf, nor the church in Philadelphia he builded. It is gone, gone, gone with lost Atlantis. Never say I didn't give you warning. In 1793 it was there for all to see, but it's not in Philadelphia this morning. If you're off to Philadelphia in the morning, you mustn't go by anything I've said. Bob Bicknell's southern stages have been laid aside for ages. The Limited will take you there instead. Toby Hurty can't be seen at 118 North 2nd Street, no matter when you call. And I fear you'll search in vain for the washhouse down the lane where Pharaoh played the fiddle at the ball. It is gone, gone, gone with Thebes the golden. Never say I didn't give you warning. In 1794 it was a famous dancing floor, but it's not in Philadelphia this morning. If you're off to Philadelphia in the morning, you must telegraph for rooms at some hotel. You needn't try your luck at Epley's or the Buck, though the father of his country liked him well. It is not the slightest use to inquire for Adam Goose, or ask where Pastor Meader has removed. So you must treat as out of date the story I relate of the church in Philadelphia he loved so. He's gone, gone, gone with Martin Luther. Never say I didn't give you warning. In 1795 he was rest his soul alive, but he's not in Philadelphia this morning. But if you're off to Philadelphia this morning and wish to prove the truth of what I say, I pledge my soul you'll find the pleasant land behind, unaltered since Red Jacket rode that way. Still the pinewood scent the noon, still the catbird sings his tune, still autumn sets the maple forest blazing, still the grapevine through the dusk flings a soul-compelling musk, still the fireflies in the corn make night amazing. They are there with earth immortal. Citizens, I give you friendly warning that the things that truly last when men and times are past, they are all in Pennsylvania this morning. Cities and thrones and powers stand in time's eye, almost as long as flowers which daily die. But as new buds put forth to glad new men, out of the spent and unconsidered earth the cities rise again. This season's daffodil she never hears. What change, what chance, what chill cut down last year's? But with bold countenance and knowledge small, esteems her 7 days' continuance to be perpetual. So time that is all kind to all that be, ordains us e'en as blind, as bold as she, that in our very death and burial sure, shadow to shadow, well persuaded, saith, see how our works endure. When I was young and scarce 18, I drove a roaring trade, and many a sly trick have I played on many a pretty maid. My parents saw that would not do, I soon would spend their store, so they resolved that I should go on board a man of war. Well, a bold press gang surrounded me, their warrant they did show. They vowed that I must go to sea and face a daring foe. Then off they lugged me to the boat, and then I cursed my fate, for then I found that I should float on board a 98. Now when first I put my foot on board, how I did stand and stare, for our Admiral he gave the word, there is no time to spare. So we raised our anchor, shook out sail, then off they bore me straight to face the French in storm and gale on board a 98. But as time fled, I boldly grew, I hardened was to war. I could run aloft with my ship's crew and value not a scar. And right well I did my duty do till I got boatswain's mate, and blast me soon got boatswain too on board a 98. So the years rolled by, and at Trafalgar brave Nelson he fought and fell. And when they capsized that hardy tar, I took a rap as well. So to Greenwich College I come back, because I'd saved my pate. They'd only knocked a wing off Jack on board in 98. So now I can my cocoa take, my pouch with baccy stored, all in my blue coat and my three-cocked hat. I'm as happy as a lord, 'cause I'd done my duty, served my king, and now I bless my fate. But blast me, I'm too old to sing. I'm nearly 98. Big steamers. Oh, where are you going to, all you big steamers with England's own coal? Up and down the salt sea, we're going to fetch you your bread and your butter, your beef, pork and mutton, eggs, apples and cheese. And where will you fetch it from, all you big steamers? And where should I write you when you are away? We fetch it from Melbourne, Quebec and Vancouver. Address us at Hobart, Hong Kong and Bombay. But if anything happened to all your big steamers, suppose you was wrecked up and down the salt sea, why then you'd have no coffee or bacon for breakfast, and you'd have no muffins or toast for your tea. Then I'll pray for fine weather for all your big steamers, with little blue billows and breezes so soft. Oh, billows and breezes don't bother big steamers, for we're iron below and steel rigging aloft. Then I'll build a new lighthouse for all your big steamers, with plenty wise pilots to pilot you through. Ah, the channel's as bright as a ballroom already, and pilots are thicker than pilchards at loo. Then what can I do for you, all you big steamers? And what can I do for your comfort and good? Send out your big warships to watch your big waters, that no one may stop us from bringing you food. For the bread that you eat and the biscuits you nibble, the sweets that you suck and the joints that you carve, they are brought to you daily by all us big steamers. And if anyone hinders our coming, you'll starve. Thank you. This is one of a body of songs that's sometimes called the Good Night Ballads, and for the life of me I don't know why they call them that, because I've never heard one that actually says good night in it. They all say goodbye, quite seriously, because they were all, every single one of them was written by highwaymen. Now this one's got a lot of verses in common with other highwayman ballads, but it's also got a lot of little details that lead me to think that we're hearing a pretty accurate account of a man's life. I am a gallant highwayman, my name is Tyne of Harrow, I come of poor but honest folk nigh to the hills of Yarrow. 'Twas for getting of a maid with child to England I came over, I left my parents and became a wild and daring rover. And straight to London I did go, where I became a soldier, resolved to fight Britannia's foes. No champion could be bolder. They sent me to a foreign land where the cannon loud did rattle, and believe me, lads, I do not boast how I behaved in battle, for many's the battle I was in Holland and French Flanders. I always fought with courage keen, led on by brave commanders. But a cruel ensign called me out, and I was flogged and carted. Cruel the usage they gave me, and so I soon deserted, and straight for England I set sail, as fast as wind could heave me, resolved that of my liberty no man should e'er relieve me. I slept by night in open fields, by all old friends forsaken, and I dared not walk the roads by day for fear I should be taken. But being of a courage keen, and likewise able-bodied, well, I robbed Lord Lowndes on the King's highway with my pistols heavy loaded. I clapped me pistols to his breast, which caused him for to quiver, and £500 in ready gold to me he did deliver. With heart of my new store of gold, I bought a famous gelding that could jump o'er a 5-bar gate. I bought it from Ned Fielding. Lord Arkenstone in his fine coach I robbed at Covent Garden, and 2 hours later the same night I robbed the Earl of Warren, and one night by Turnham Green I robbed a revenue collector, and what I took from him I gave to a widow to protect her. For I always rob the rich and great, for to rob the poor I scorned. But now they lead me to my fate, in iron chains adorned. Yes, it's straight in Newgate I am bound, and by the law indicted for to hang at Tyburn trees my fate, of which I'm much affrighted. Farewell, my friends and countrymen, and my native hills of Yarrow. Kind Providence will test the soul of Allantine of Harrow. Tyne of Harrow. Did you ever hear tell of the young London waterman who from Blackfriars did regular ply? He feathered his oars with such skill and dexterity, pleasing each maid and delighting each eye. And he sang so sweet, he sang so merry, the couples all jostled to hire his wherry, and he became known as the true lover's ferry. But he could not find a true love of his own, till there come a young goose girl from Stratford St. Mary, and she wanted taking to Farringdon Fair. But she had not the halfpenny to pay for a wherry, and she stood on the steps in a pretty despair. But she sang so sweet, she sang so merry, he put her and all of her geese in his wherry, and her pretty face was the fare for the ferry, as he rowed her over to Farringdon Fair. They was married next May time at Stratford St. Mary, and now they have watermen 1, 2, 3, 4. They all feather their oars with such skill and dexterity, taking the people from shore to shore. And they sing so sweet, they sing so merry, the people all jostle to hire their wherry, and everyone goes by the Blackfriars Ferry, while he stays at home with a love of his own. Cholera Camp. We've the cholera in camp, it's worse than 40 fights, and we're dying in the wilderness the same as Israelites. It's before us and behind us, and we cannot get away, and the doctors just reported there's 10 more today. So strike your camp and go, the bugle's calling, the rains are falling, the dead are bushed and stoned to keep 'em safe below. The bands are doing all they can to cheer us, the chaplain's gone and prayed to God to hear us, to hear us. Oh Lord, for it's a killing of us so. Since August, when it started, it's been sticking to our tail. Oh, they've had us out on marches, they've had us back by rail, but it runs as fast as troop trains, we cannot get away, and the sick list to the colonel makes 10 more today. So strike your camp and go, the bugle's calling, the rains are falling, the dead are bushed and stoned to keep 'em safe below. The bands are doing all they can to cheer us, the chaplain's gone and prayed to God to hear us, to hear us. Oh Lord, for it's a killing of us so. Nah, there ain't no fun in women, there ain't no joy in drink, and it is much too wet for shooting. We can only march and think, and at evening down the nullahs you can hear the jackals say, fall down your own buggers, we want 10 more today. So strike your camp and go, the bugle's calling, the rains are falling, the dead are bushed and stoned to keep 'em safe below. The bands are doing all they can to cheer us, the chaplain's gone and prayed to God to hear us, to hear us. Oh Lord, for it's a killing of us so. And it would make a monkey cough to see our way of doing things, for there's lieutenants taking companies and captains taking wings, and lancers acting sergeant, 8 files to obey. Oh yes, there's lots of quick promotion on 10 deaths a day. So strike your camp and go, the bugle's calling, the rains are falling, the dead are bushed and stoned to keep 'em safe below. The bands are doing all they can to cheer us, the chaplain's gone and prayed to God to hear us, to hear us. Oh Lord, for it's a killing of us so. And our colonel, he's white and twittily, and he gets no sleep nor food. He just mucks about in hospital where nothing does no good. And he sends us heaps of comforts, all bought from his pay, but there ain't much comfort handy for 10 deaths a day. So strike your camp and go, the bugle's calling, the rains are falling, the dead are bushed and stoned to keep 'em safe below. The bands are doing all they can to cheer us, the chaplain's gone and prayed to God to hear us, to hear us. Oh Lord, for it's a killing of us so. And our chaplain, he's got a banjo and a skinny mule he rides, and the stuff he says and sings, good, it makes us split our sides. With his black coattails a bobbing to ta-ra-ra boom-de-ay, oh, he's a proper kind of padre for 10 deaths a day. And Father Victor helps him with our Roman Catholics, because he knows a heap of Irish songs and rummy conjuring tricks. And so they work together when it comes to play or pray. But we are rocking round the district on 10 deaths a day. So strike your camp and go, the bugle's calling, the rains are falling, the dead are bushed and stoned to keep 'em safe below. And them as does not like it, they can lamp it. Them as cannot stand it, they must jump it. For we've got to die somewhere, some way, somehow. So we might as well begin to do it now. So number one, let down your tent pole slow. Pull out the pegs and hold the corners so. Hold in the flies, furl up the ropes and stow. Strike your camp and go, God help us. In Chestertown there lived a brisk young widow, for beauty and fine clothes none could excel her. She was proper stout and tall, her fingers long and small. She's a comely dame withal, she's a brisk young widow. So a lover soon there came, a brisk young farmer, with his hat turned up all round, thinking to gain her. My dear, for love of you, this wide world I go through. If you would but prove true, you shall wed a farmer. Says she, I'm not for you, nor no such fellow. I'm for some lively lad with lands and riches. 'Tis not your hogs and yows can maintain furbelows. My silks and satin hose, they are all me glory. Madam, don't be coy, for all your glory, for fear of another day and another story. If the world on you should frown, your top knot must come down to a linsey woolsey gown. Where is then your glory? And at length there come that way a sooty collier, with his hat bent down all round. He sounded gainer, whereat that farmer swore, that widow's mace, I'm sure, I'll never court no more with a brisk young widow. Brisk young widow. When you're sad and you are lonely and you cannot find a friend, just remember that death is not the end. When all that you've held sacred falls down and will not mend, just remember that death is not the end. Not the end, no, not the end. just remember that death is not the end. For the tree of life is growing where the spirit never dies, and the bright light of salvation shines from dark and empty skies. When you're standing at the crossroads that you cannot comprehend, just remember that death is not the end. And when all your dreams have vanished, you don't know what's up the bend, just remember that death is not the end. Not the end, no, not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. For the tree of life is growing where the spirit never dies, and the bright light of salvation shines from dark and empty skies. When the storm clouds gather round you and heavy rains descend, just remember that death is not the end. And when there's no one there to comfort you with a helping hand to lend, just remember that death is not the end. Not the end, no, not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. For the tree of life is growing where the spirit never dies, and the bright light of salvation shines from dark and empty skies. When you search in vain to find just one law-abiding citizen, just remember that death is not the end. And when the cities are on fire with the burning flesh of men, just remember that death is not the end. Not the end, no, not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. Bob Dylan wrote that. Welcome all ye brisk young sailors, bold as ploughs the raging sea. Come listen to my tragedy, I will relate to thee. How I was pressed from my own true love, she's a girl I do adore. Oh, pressed I was to the raging seas, where the foaming billows roar. Sometimes on deck, sometimes aloft, at other times below. But thoughts of Polly run into me mind when the stormy winds did blow. Now our captain, he'd been a valiant man, all upon the deck did stand. There is £50 in full reward, the first man who spies the land. So up poles and up aloft did go to our foretop so high. He spied all round him on every side, but neither light nor land did spy. But our captain, he stood up on the deck, and some light he chanced to spy. Bear off, before the wine, for some harbour we are nigh. Bear off, before the wine, St. Celia's rocks to clear. On the ocean wide we must abide, till the daylight do appear. But the very first time our gallant ship struck full loud, our master cried, "Oh, good Lord, have mercy on us all, who in the seas must die." Out of 80 brisk young sailors bold, only 4 got safe on shore. And our gallant ship to the bottom she sank, and she never did rise no more. Now when this sad news reached Plymouth town that our gallant ship was lost, there was many a brisk young seaman bold for to lament our loss. Goodbye, my dear, you must abide the loss of your sweetheart, since the raging seas and the stormy winds, they have caused you and I to part. Goodbye, my dear, you must abide the loss of your sweetheart, since the raging seas and the stormy winds, they have caused you and I to part. Oh, you may moan with plaintive tone your gormless modern tune, but I will roar along the shore beneath a blood-red moon, and songs that Nelson sailors sang shall ring across the wave, and 50,000 sailor men will join the chorus brave, a chorus brave and tarry that savours of the sea, and 50,000 sailor men will rise to sing with me the old songs, yes, the old songs that gave our fathers joy. The songs they sang till the welkin rang when Nelson was a boy. Or in the dusty sunlit barn a farmer's song I'll sing, a country rhyme to a rhythmic time of flails that thump and swing all up and down the threshing floor to win the golden grain. And 50,000 threshermen will join the bold refrain, a bold refrain and fearless that springs from English soil, and 50,000 threshermen will join my song of toil. The old songs, yes, the old songs that gave our fathers joy. The songs they sang till the welkin rang when Nelson was a boy. Or in the depths of cellar cool, reclining on a bench, when I've dispersed an honest thirst that ale alone can quench, I will wake the vaulted echoes wide in praise of barley brew, and 50,000 drinking men will join the chorus true, a chorus true and hearty of hops and barley malt, and 50,000 drinking men will prove their worth, their salt. The old songs, yes, the old songs that gave our fathers joy, the songs they sang till the welkin rang when Nelson was a boy, they will echo onward down the years and never, never fade. For 50,000 singing men will never be afraid, for to raise their last their voices, their spirits to revive, and tell to all eternity we're glad that we're alive. The old songs. He was barely a man in his grandfather's coat, and sewn in the lining was a 10-shilling note. Goodbye to the family, goodbye to the shore, till I taste good fortune I will see you no more. Then a boat on the ocean tossed up like a cork, until one fine morning they sighted New York. And he stood on the gangplank and he breathed in the air, hello, land of plenty, I have come for my share. And he did like the ladies, the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, and a rolling the dice and a spinning the wheel, but it took most delight in the slip jigs and reels. Well, there's talk of a pistol, some say a knife, but all are agreed there was somebody's wife. Some kind of commotion, a terrible fight, and he left one man dead and ran into the night. Next a train to St. Louis, just one jump ahead. He slept one eye open with a gun neath his head, but he dreamed of the green fields and the mountains of home, while crossing the plains where the buffalo roam. And he did like the ladies, the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, and a rolling the dice and a spinning the wheel, but it took most delight in the slip jigs and reels. So they called him the Kid, and by 21 all he had learned was the power of the gun, and by 23 he had shot 5 men down who got in his way as he rambled around. But a bad reputation is a hard thing to bear, for mothers pour scorn and young children they stare. But he found consolation in flash company, and life ain't so bad with a girl on your knee. And he did like the ladies, the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, and a rolling the dice, and a spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip jigs and reels. There are bones on the desert and buzzards that fly in high lazy circles, just hoping you'll die. But in matters of cruelty it must be said, a landlord will pick your bones long ere you're dead. It was wild mescaleros, I've heard people say, in the deadliest ambush near old Santa Fe. A young buck was taken, togged up in a coat, and inside the lining was a 10-shilling note. Oh, he did like the ladies, the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, and a rolling the dice and a spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip jigs and reels. Lord Thomas, he was a bold forester, and the keeper of our Lord's dear. Fair Eleanor, she was a lady gay. Lord Thomas, he loved her so dear. Lord Thomas, he loved her so dear. So come riddle to me, dear mother, he said, come riddle it all as one, whether I should marry with fair Eleanor or bring the brown girl home. Oh, bring the brown girl home. Well, the brown girl, she has riches and land. Fair Eleanor, she has none. And so I charge you, do my bidding and bring the brown girl home. And bring the brown girl home. So he's rode till he's come to fair Eleanor's bower. Loud lie the bell did ring. There was none so ready as fair Eleanor herself for to rise and bid him in. To rise and bid him in. And what news, Lord Thomas, she said, what news have you brought to me? I have come to invite you to my wedding, and that's sad news for thee. And that's sad news for thee. Come riddle to me, dear mother, she said, come riddle it all as one, whether I should go to Lord Thomas's wedding or bide with thee at home. Oh, bide with thee at home. Well, many are your friends, she said, but thousands are your foes, and so I charge you, do my bidding and bide with me at home. And bide with me at home. But she has dressed herself in the shining white, her merry men all in green, and every town that they rode through, they took her to be some queen. They took her to be some queen, and she has rode till she's come to Lord Thomas's hall. Loud lie the bell she did ring. There was none so ready as Lord Thomas himself for to rise and bid her in. To rise and bid her in. And he's taken her by the lily white hand. He's led her through the hall. He set her down at his right side, above the ladies all. above the ladies all. Now the brown girl, she had a little penknife. It was ground both keen and sharp, and between the long ribs and the small, she's pierced fair Eleanor's heart. She's pierced fair Eleanor's heart. What ails you, lady? Lord Thomas said, for you look most wondrous wan, and you used to have the fairest colour that e'er the sun shone on, that e'er the sun shone on. Oh, are you blind, Lord Thomas? She said, so blind that you cannot see, for I fear I feel my own heart's blood run trickling to my knee, run trickling to my knee. With his sword he cut off the brown girl's head, and he dashed it against the wall. Then he set the hilt upon the ground, and upon the point he did fall, and upon the point he did fall. Now come dig my grave, Lord Thomas said, dig it long, wide and deep, and place fair Eleanor in my arms, and the brown girl at my feet, and the brown girl at my feet. Here's a rather gentle little song, which makes a nice contrast, I think. It's called Down the Moor. One morn in May, when fields were gay, serene and pleasant was the weather, I spied a lass, and a very bonny lass, she was swooping the dew from among the heather, down the moor, in among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather, I spied a lass, and a very bonny lass, she was swooping the dew from among the heather, down the moor. Barefoot was she, but comely dress, and on her head neither hat nor feather, with the skirts tucked neatly round her waist, as she tripped through the bloomin' heather, down the moor, in among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather, with the skirts tucked neatly round her waist, as she tripped through the bloomin' heather, down the moor. I stepped up to this fair young maid. Come tell me, love, why come you hither? She answered me, down by the bonny burn side, I am herding all my ewes together, down the moor, in among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather. She answered me, down by the bonny burn side, I am herding all my ewes together, down the moor. I courted her that live long day, my heart as light as any feather, until the beams of the red setting sun come slanting down in among the heather, down the moor, in among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather, until the beams of the red setting sun come slanting down in among the heather, down the moor. She said, young man, I must away, for my ewes are straying from each other, though I'm as loth to part with you as the bonny wee lambs are to part their mother. Down the moor, in among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather, though I'm as loth to part with you as the bonny wee lambs are to part their mother. Down the moor, then up she got, and away she run. Her name and place I did not gather, but if I was the king, I would make her me queen, that bonny little lass I met among the heather. Down the moor, in among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather. If I was the king, I would make her me queen, that bonny little lass I met among the heather. Down the moor. You gentlemen, both great and small, gamekeepers, poachers, sportsmen all, come listen to me, simple clown. I'll sing you the death of poor Bill Brown. I'll sing you the death of poor Bill Brown. One stormy night, as you shall hear, it being the season of the year, we went to the woods to catch a buck, but in that night we had bad luck, for Bill Brown was shot and down was struck. Well, we got to the woods and our sport begun. I saw the gamekeeper present his gun, and I called on Bill to climb the gate and get away, but it was too late, for there he met his untimely fate. But I saw the man who shot Bill Brown. I know him well and could tell the clown, for to describe him in my song, black jacket he had and red waistcoat on. I know him well and his name is Tom. So I dressed myself next night in time, and I got to the wood as the clock struck 9. The reason was, and I'll tell you why, for to find that gamekeeper I did go try, who shot my friend and he shall die. So I ranged the woods all over, and then I looked at me watch and it was just 10. I heard a footstep on the green, so I hid myself for fear of being seen, for I clearly saw that it was Tom Green. So I took my gun all in my hand, resolved to fire if Tom should stand. He heard the noise and turned him round. I fired and brought him to the ground. My hand gave him his deep death wound. So revenge, you see, my hopes must crown. I've shot the man as shot Bill Brown. Poor Bill no more these eyes will see. Farewell, old friend, farewell to thee. I've crowned your hopes and your memory. Bill Brown. I'm old Tom Moore, I'm a bummer, sure, from the good old golden days. You can call me a bummer, a gin sot too, what care I for praise? I just rove around from town to town, folks call me the roving sign. It's just old Tom Moore, he's a bummer, sure, from the days of 49. In the days of old, in the days of gold, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug up the gold in the days of 49. There was Nantuck Bill, I knew him well, he was always fond of tricks. At a poker game he was always there and ready with his bricks. He would ante up and draw the cards, he would go for the hatful blind. In a game with death, he lost his breath in the days of 49. In the days of old, in the days of gold, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug up the gold in the days of 49. There was New York Jake, the butcher's boy. He was always getting tight. And every time that he got drunk, he was looking for a fight. One night he rampaged up against a knife in the hands of old Doc Klein. Over Jake we held awake in the days of 49. In the days of old, in the days of gold, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug up the gold in the days of 49. There was Frisco Jess, one of the best, he never would repent. He was never known to miss a beer, nor yet to pay a cent. But one night, poor Jess, like all the rest who never can decline, in his ruddy bloom he went up the flume in the days of 49. In the days of old, in the days of gold, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug up the gold in the days of 49. There was Roaring Joe from Buffalo, I never will forget. He roared all day and he roared all night, and I guess he's roaring yet. One night he fell in a prospect hole of roaring bad design. In that hole he roared out his soul in the days of 49. In the days of old, in the days of gold, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug up the gold in the days of 49. Now of all the friends that I had then, there's no one left to boast, for I'm left alone in my misery like some poor wandering ghost. I just rove around from town to town, folks call me the roving sign. It's just old Tom Moore, he's a bummer sure from the days of 49. In the days of old, in the days of gold, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug up the gold in the days of 49. It's of a damsel both fair and handsome, these lines are true, as I am told. On the banks of Shannon, in a lofty mansion, her parents claimed great stores of gold. Her hair was black as the raven feather, her form and features dissemble who can. There was a young fellow worked on that station, she fell in love with her servant man. As Mary Ann and her love were walking, her father spied them and nearer drew. As they together so sweet were talking, home in rage then her father flew. For to build a dungeon was his intention, and to part true lovers he contrived the plan. He swore by oaths and powers to mention, he would part this fair one from her servant man. This dungeon, it was of bricks and mortar, with a flight of steps being underground. The food he gave her was bread and water, no bed nor blanket for her was found. 3 times a day he did sorely beat her, till to her father she crying began, "Oh, if I've transgressed my own dear father, yet I'll live and die for my servant man." Young Edwin, he found her habitation, it was protected with an iron door. He vowed in spite of all the nation, he would set her free or would rest no more. Now after leisure he tells with pleasure how he gained releasement for his Mary Ann. He gained his object, set free his treasure. She cried, "My faithful young servant man." But when he found his daughter vanished, like a lion he began to roar, saying, "Out of Ireland you shall be banished, with my broadsword I will shed your gore." "Well, I grieve," cried Edwin, "it's at your leisure, since I've released her, now do all you can. Oh, forgive your daughter, I will die with pleasure, for the one in fault it is your servant man." But when he saw him so tender-hearted, down he fell onto the dungeon floor, crying, "Such true lovers can ne'er be parted, since love has entered in an iron door." So they were joined to be parted never, and to roll in riches this young couple can. And this fair young lady, she rules in pleasure, for to live forever with her servant man. Do another Kipling song, I think. It's sort of like a sea shanty, but not quite. Hey, walk around, heave a short begin, oh, snatch her over there and hold her on the pole. Loose all sail, brace your yards aback and full, ready jib to pay her off and if short all. Well, fare thee well, we can stay no more with you, me love. Sit down, you liquor, and the girl from off your knee. The wind has come to say, you must take me while you may. If you go to Mother Carey, woman down, Mother Carey. We're bound for Mother Carey, where she feeds the chicks at sea. Hey, walk around, break it out to that, break the starboard bow, we're out to peak, wash and clear. Port she casts with the harbour mat beneath the foot, and that's the last of bottom we will see this year. Well, fare thee well, we've got to take her out again. Take her out in ballast, right and light and cargo free. Time to clear and quit when the hawser grips the bit, so we will pay you with a 4-sheet and a promise from the sea. Hey, tally on, aft and walk away with her handsome to the cathead now. Tally on the fore, stop, Caesar, and fish easy on the davit. Guyets up, well up the fluke, give her an inboard haul. Well, fare thee well, the channel winds took hold of us, it's choking down our voices as we snatch the gaskets free. Hello, and up and out, and she's dropping light and light. She is snorting as she's snatching for a breath of open sea. Wheel full and by, she'll smell her road alone tonight, for sick she is, she's harbour sick and sick to clear the land. Roll down to Brest with the old red ensign over us. Carry on and thrash her out with old shields stand. Well, fare thee well, Ushant slams the door on us, a whirling like a windmill through the dirty scuttle lee. To the last flicker goes, from the tumbling water rose. We're off to Mother Carey, well, we're down to Mother Carey. We're bound for Mother Carey, where she feeds the chicks at sea. Santa Fe Trail. Tell me, friend, have you sighted a schooner alongside of the Santa Fe Trail? And it may get here Monday or sooner. Had a water cake tied to their tail. There was a pa and a ma on the mule seat, but somewhere along by the way was a tow-headed gal on a pinto, just a jangling for old Santa Fe. Yah-ho, yah-ho, just a jangling for old Santa Fe. Yah-ho, yah-ho, just a jangling for old Santa Fe. Well, I seen 'em come down the arroyo as we crossed on them Arkansas sands. She had smiles like acres of sunflowers, held a quirt in her little brown hand. And she mounted a pinto so airy, and she rode like she carried the mail, and her eyes they set fire to the prairie alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Yah-ho, yah-ho, alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Yah-ho, yah-ho, alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Well, I once knew a gal on the border who I'd ride to El Paso to sight. I have danced in some high-stepping order, and I've sometimes kissed some girls goodnight. Lord, they're all ruffles and beading, and they drink fancy tea by the pail. I'm not used to that kind of stampeding alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Yah-ho, yah-ho, alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Yah-ho, yah-ho, alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Well, I don't know her name. On the prairie, when you are hunting one girl, it's so wide, and it's shorter from hell to Hilary than it is on that Santa Fe ride. But I'll try and reach Plumbers by sundown, where a camp can be made on the swale. Then I'll come on that gal with her pinto alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Yah-ho, yah-ho, alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Yah-ho, alongside of the Santa Fe Trail. Santa Fe Trail, thank you very much indeed. As I wandered over Highland Hill to a farmer's house I came, the night being dark and something wet, I ventured in the same, where I was kindly treated and a pretty girl I spied, who asked me if I had a wife, but marriage I denied. So I courted her all that long even till near the door next day, when frankly unto me she said, along with you I'll go, for Ireland is a fine country, and you to the Scots are kin. Oh, I will go along with you, my fortune to begin. And daybreak being nearly come, I into the house was ta'en, where the good man kindly asked me if I would wed his daughter Jane. £100 I'll give to you, likewise a piece of land. But scarcely had he said them words when I thought on Peggy Ban. Well, your offer, sir, it is very good, and I thank you too, said I. But I cannot be your son-in-law, I'll tell you the reason why. Me business calleth me in haste, I am King's messenger bound. Oh, I cannot be your son-in-law till I've seen the Irish ground. And Peggy Ban, she is me jewel, my heart lies in her breast. Although we at a distance are, still I do love her the best. Although we at a distance are, and seas between us row, yet I'll be constant to Peggy Ban, so adieu forevermore. On the 23rd of March, my boys, we hoisted our topsail, crying heaven above, protect us with a fair and a pleasant gale. We never was downhearted, nor let our courage fail, as we bore up north to Greenland, for to catch the Greenland whale, for to catch that Greenland whale. And when we came to Greenland, where them bitter winds do blow, we tacked
tacked about all in the north, all among the frost and snow. Our fingertops were frozen off, and likewise our toenails, as we crawled out on the decks, me boys, looking out for Greenland whales, looking out for Greenland whales. And when we came to Imes, with them mountains flow with snow, there we tacked about all in the north, till we heard a whalefish blow. And when we've caught that whale, my boys, it's homeward we will steer. We'll cause them valleys for to ring, or a drinking of strong beer. We'll make them lofty alehouses in London town to roar, and when our money is all gone, to Greenland go for more, to Greenland go for more.